The guy from the state called me and told me that you were interested in talking about the truck issue that you had. Have you got a minute to talk about that right now?
Yeah, I got a little bit.
Okay. Well, just tell me what happened from the beginning. I've got a copy of your complaint, but just go ahead and just tell me what happened.
Okay, so I bought that white truck, of course, and I wanted to trade it into a bigger truck, so I traded it in, and I had that F-250 for maybe like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And so they showed up at the house one day, the Department of Revenue and Highway Department and all that, people like that. But of course I wasn't there, I was at work. But my neighbor stopped him, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? Do y'all need something, blah, blah?" He said, "No, we're just looking for Don Hurt. He's in a little bit of trouble." And he's like, "What? Don's in trouble? He never does nothing wrong, And he said, "If you don't care, just give me your card or something like that, and I'll give it to him and let him know." He's like, "Okay." So I got the card and I called him back. The next morning, I think, so I called him. And they're like, "Yeah, if you don't care, we'd like to meet up with you at some point in time and check out that truck you just got." So I was like, okay, because it was kind of like a weird situation. So I went and met them up, and they told me, they said this might be a cloned vehicle, it might be a stolen vehicle. And I was like, whoa, I ain't ever done nothing wrong. I've never seen the truck. It was like, yeah, we know that you bought it from that dealership just a couple months ago. We know that you did not do nothing wrong. And I was like, okay, so they looked at the truck, and the truck had 3 or 4 different numbers on it. I cannot remember. But the truck was actually 2017. But I went up there and bought a 2019. That's what I went to buy. That's what they advertised it as. But anyways, the truck was a 2017. And they're like, "Well, you can't drive this truck no more. We need to take it." And I was like, okay, because they had all the paperwork that showed it. The woman on the phone was going over the VIN numbers with me and telling me how they was fake and how it was an actual 2017 and stuff like that. So I didn't even argue with him, nothing like that. So I left there, and on the way home, I told that dealership that I bought the truck from. I told them what had happened, and I told them that the Department of Revenue was up there, they needed paperwork from it and everything like that. When I was on the phone with them, I also thought, is there any way that y'all could help me out a little bit? Because, of course, I'm down the whole loss of the truck, vehicle, and everything, still paying on it. I said, is there any way that you can give me my trade-in value, maybe the $10,000 cash I gave you, or anything like that? Is there any possible way you could help me out any little bit? They said, no, we're much as a victim as you are. And, of course, I'm not going to sit there and argue with them because that's just a waste of time, in my opinion, because it ain't going to get you nowhere. So I was like,
they're not the victims. They got their money.
Yeah.
How are they saying they're the victims? They came out ahead on the deal.
Exactly. They got their money all through the thing because they got the $30,000 from the trade-in value. They got the $10,000 cash I gave them, and then they also got the money from the loan that I took out on the truck because I went through the bank. I didn't go through them, so they got a check the first day I bought the truck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How much did you borrow?
I think it was like $38,000, something like that.
So altogether, that was about an $80,000 truck almost, sounds like. Or not,
yeah, it was about
70,000. Okay. So now you're paying off basically almost a house mortgage, and you lost your truck and your down payment, and you're paying off a $37,000 loan.
Yeah, still.
Did they still have your trade-in?
No, they sold it like maybe a month after because it was still hooked to my phone. And I was like, well, I need to get this off of my phone. Because, of course, you would hook all these new vehicles up to your phone. But as soon as it left your lot, it started on my phone. I was like, oh, so they must have just sold it. And I was like, well, you could have just gave that back to me. But
how long did they sell it after you asked them about or told them that the truck had been confiscated?
They sold it before.
Okay. So what was their reaction to all of this situation? What did they say?
They said that they was as much as a victim as I was, and that they couldn't help me out any little bit. And they've been several people calling them from the state here recently, and they won't even really talk to them much or nothing like that. Everybody that I've had call them, they don't want nothing to do with them. Want to talk to the attorney and blah, 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 stuff like that.
So did you file a lawsuit?
Yeah, I filed a lawsuit about a year and a half ago, like right after it happened.
In Washington County?
Yes, sir.
Who's your lawyer?
Jefferson Fairchild.
Okay. Do you happen to have a copy of the complaint by any chance?
Yeah.
Is it something you could email to me?
I could probably send you some pictures of it.
Okay, of the lawsuit complaint.
Yeah, I've got the big old lawsuit complaint.
Okay.
And paperwork. I don't have it on my phone, but I could take pictures of it and email it to you.
Okay. So where does the lawsuit stand right now?
So they never did do nothing because legally you got to send them a notification that somebody's suing them or something like that. I don't know all the legal terms, but you got to send it to them, and then they got to respond in like 60 days, and they never did respond. And then it just kept on waiting and waiting for them to respond. And then actually, in January, I think, there was a third party come in on my complaint. So I asked my attorney, I was like, who is that? And he said, the dealership put their self on your complaint, suing the woman that sold them the truck. They didn't even make their own lawsuit or nothing like that. They put that lawsuit in my lawsuit also. So basically saying, if I can't get my money back unless they get hurt, like sued, even though it has nothing to do with her. I mean, it does to them, but to me, it doesn't. Yeah,
but they got paid, and you were out. You're the one that's out, not them.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, we're just standing still right now. I mean, it ain't went forward no more since then.
So in the meantime, you're paying this loan off?
Yeah, I'm paying $560 a month.
And what about and you don't have a vehicle, you didn't get your truck. Did you find another truck to drive, or?
I've been borrowing Mom's car and stuff like that. Like right now, I've got Mom's car borrowed. But in the beginning, it was kind of hard because, like, it was a very shocking thing, I just bought a new truck, wasn't really worried about having to borrow people's car. Mom was actually driving to Bulls Gap at the time, so I couldn't ask her for her car,
Right.
So I had to borrow Mammo's car, I had people taking it to work, and everything like that. But now Mom works at home, so I use her car right now.
Do you know anything about the person that the dealership got the truck from, or is that person a crook, or how did that all come about?
When I bought the truck, if I ain't telling you wrong, I cannot remember if he said Kingsport or Johnson City, but it was either one of the two. He said a woman brought it in and traded it in for a new truck or something like that, they said. But she bought it for her sons. Excuse me. She bought it for her sons. They didn't need it no more, something like that. So she traded it in on something new. And that was the end of that. I didn't hear nothing else or nothing like that.
Huh. So, I mean, because it seemed like it's a crime. And what about who gave you the loan on this truck?
Kingsport Press Credit Union.
And did they ask you for, like, a VIN or a title or something?
So, yeah, they asked me for the VIN and the deal sheet from the dealership. And the VIN number, actually, this does not make no sense at all, but the VIN number actually pulled up a 2019 truck, F-250, which makes no sense. In a clone vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So after she got the deal sheet, there was no way for her to argue back and forth if it was real or if it wasn't, because all they do is take that VIN number and type it in a database, and it just shows the value of the truck. So that's what they base it off of. But they couldn't do nothing. I was like, why can't y'all just not stop my loan and quit my payments? I mean, it can still be there, but like, why do I have to continue to pay on it? It was like, well, we still have to get our money. And I was like, well, and I've tried to call the main department of Kingsport Press and everything like that. Everybody seems to want to move forward and stop the payments or nothing like that.
So, what has your lawyer told you what to expect from this outcome?
He says once it gets in court that he thinks it'll be a in and out case, is what he says.
Mm-hmm.
But just getting it to court and getting them to go to court is the hard part, because they legally can wait up to 4 years, I think he said.
And if you're a legitimate, reputable business and you're in the wrong, which they obviously are, then they should make you right. But
100%.
they're not going that route.
Yeah, like that's their due diligence, if you ask me. When they purchase a vehicle from somebody or they get a trade-in on something like that, they should go over that truck. That is their daily job, is to find out if that's a good truck, how much they should sell it for, and everything like that. So they see the VIN numbers every day. That should be a first thing they look at to know if that truck is fake, if it's real, if it's stolen, if there's been any accidents, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then if it does come to play, and you sign all that paperwork, and I'm actually 100% sure one of the last papers that I signed, it said something about if the truck has ever come back stolen or fake, we will replace it. I am 100% sure there's a paper that was like that.
Wow.
But I could be wrong. Because all the papers you sign when you buy a vehicle like that. But that's their daily job, is to make sure they treat everybody right.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 20 right now. I'm on the truck when I was 19.
Dang. That's a tough lick for a 19-year-old to take, I tell you. And you can, if you don't,
it was like, how are you handling it? But I mean, there's not. You just can't give up. You know what I mean?
if you don't pay, you're going to mess up your credit, and that'll and they don't
work really hard on that, because like if you want land these days, you're going to have good credit.
And if the credit people, the people who do your credit rating don't care if you got ripped off or not. They're just going to see that if you don't pay it, then that's all they care about.
You're 100% correct.